Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Redirection with Terri-Karelle. How you do? What are you doing? What are you up to? Have you been enjoying season 3 as much as I have? I certainly hope so, because I look forward to learning from my guests each and every week, and I certainly hope you are doing the same. This podcast is brought to you by MasterCard in association with Heineken 00 and Toyota Jamaica. I also just want to big up all my partners who made season 3 possible, because without the support, the collaboration, the partnership, this would not be possible. So Concepts, you know me love you a long time. Brescia, Beauty Brands by MDS, Go Shore Couriers, FHC Credit Union, thank you. And Spaces, love you guys. Thank you for creating such an amazing energy and space for my guests. Now, in case you go looking for us or you want to find out more about the other episodes, please go ahead and visit redirectionpodcast.com. We decided to make a hub, make one place where we could keep everything there for your purposes. And if you feel like sharing across social media, don't forget to use the hashtag TK Redirection. Tony Aiken, as usual, thank you so very much. For us, it's very important for this podcast to be inclusive. So if you're watching this on YouTube, naturally our deaf community is able to benefit from these conversations because of the contribution of Tony Aiken. So of course, I just want to say thank you, Tony, for all the support over the years. So who is coming next in the redirection seat? I don't know. I feel like when her energy meet my energy, the entire set just going to blow up. This is someone who I've come to work with and who I've come to know in different capacities. And it dawned on me recently that she has a great redirection story. And it's a story that many of us may not know, even though we know her. I describe her as light, love, laughter, and she is a woman of God. Just get it ready for all of the storytelling, all of the drama, all of the laughter. It is the one and the only Alaine Laughton. Redirection with Terri-Karelle starts now. I feel like I need to say, whoa! Alaine Laughton, my darling, my light, my love, my sister, my hype woman, yes, my cheerleader. Welcome to the redirection seat.
Thank you for having a redirection seat for me to sit in. I appreciate you and everything you do and bring to the world. You're amazing.
Thank you. The thing about you is I've had the opportunity to greet you in different capacities. I've had the opportunity where I've hosted events and I've had to welcome you as the entertainment, right? The guest entertainer. I've had moments when I'm in the audience, I'm not working.
And I find you.
And you find me. Yes. I can't sing like you, but you find me and you always say, Terri, I love you.
Oh, God.
And just recently we saw each other in at the airport, the airplane.
We saw ourselves traveling to different places in South America.
Belize, I was going to Guyana. And we always have a moment where we just bless up each other.
Yes. And bless God for all he's taking us through and taking us to.
Absolutely. And I've worked with you. You've been a co-worker, a colleague for Digital Rising Stars, where I was the former host and you, of course, the guest judge. And always the judge who kind of softens Anthony.
The Anthony
Millers. Yeah. But what I've realized is the more I look at you and I've seen how you're doing a lot. Your territory is increasing. I see abundance. You're experiencing the world and you're sharing your talent. I'm like, but apart from the fact that Alaine is recognized and she is known, I'm like, I don't feel people know that you have a great redirection story.
I do.
So the first question I want to ask you is, when you look at who Alaine is and what she represents and the talent that she, like, did you know this is where you were going to be?
I knew that I always felt the most at home when I was singing.
Yes.
Since the moment I could speak, even before actually my mother told me that I was always singing, some melody was coming from my mouth. And, whenever there was music, I'd be moving. So music has always been a big part of who I am, And then I discovered singing and songwriting and playing the piano. And then that's really all I wanted to do. But I had to do well in school.
Right.
You know, and I did. Thank you, God. Thank you, mommy, because she wouldn't have no other way.
Yes.
And then, you know, got my degree and moved away.
So hold on, no, you moved too fast.
Oh, sorry,
You're moving too fast. All
right.
Because for me, it is, you had that love.
Yeah.
You clearly had that natural ability.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what you want to do. And thank God you had, like, your mommy and you had the support system that nourished it and said, okay. But then, even then, they kind of go, that's nice to have as a hobby, as an interest. Maybe not professionally. Maybe it's good to do traditional. Were you ever, not forced, but were you always encouraged, in other words, despite being so good in music, to take a more traditional approach, something that is really going to make more sense?
Yes, stability. You know,
that's the word.
that girl. Well, yes and yes.
Okay.
So it's like,
Yes.
yes, and yes. Because they wanted me to do well. Mom and dad wanted me to do well in school, and I did, you know, and they made sure of that, you know.
What school is this? What school?
St. Andrew High School for girls. The St. Andrew High School for girls. And I, you know, as a deputy head girl there, as a president of the Olipa something, the head of the house captain and, you know, student council and all of these things. You know, oh my gosh. That's why we love it so much, you know.
I'm hearing you riddle off the things and I'm like,
that was me.
That's
too.
a mirror. That's a mirror of what I was.
Sister.
So you were a student
So
leader?
yes, I was a student leader and I was, you know, president of the choir, as I said. So music was very much a part of that, you know. Graduating from school, I wrote our graduation song. And,
what do you mean?
And so...
What do you mean?
What do you mean, sir? Then they give us some song to sing. And we never like them. Every girl begs. Them says what kind of all-time song that we don't like it. So I said, me don't like it neither. So I went home. I never asked nobody any question. And I went and I sat at the piano and I wrote the graduation song. And I went to school whichever day after I wrote it. And I called all of the fifth formers together and I said, guys, girls, I wrote our graduation song. And they're
Hold on. Is this before or after you got the approval? No, but just need to know.
No question. I just knew I didn't want to sing the song that they told us they wanted us to sing. Because I said, I don't know it and I don't like it.
And you got the buy-in.
Girl.
Where did you get that confidence? Especially
God
at a time when...
only knows.
Yeah, because you know, you speak to a lot of young ladies, and that's always a very weird period where you're becoming of age, but you still don't really know what's going on, and there is still a level of, will people like me? Will people... And confidence is not really peaking because you don't really know that. But for you to just decide you're going to just uproot the entire system.
Well, because I wanted us to sound good. Like, it's very important. That was very important for me. You know, I love my year group. You know, we got along. Well, not everybody, because you can't get along with everybody.
Right.
But I still love them from afar, even if I know your brethren, you know what I mean? But I wanted us to sound good, you know? And I remember I decided... I was like, okay, we should totally sing Tevin Campbell. I hope tomorrow will bring a better you, a better me. Right? Exactly. And I said, oh, that's nice. And then I said, what other song we can sing? This is me. Me just make this decision, you know, because then suggest some song where it couldn't did open. Yeah. So then I went home and I wrote a song about, you know, now we must go away from this place that we call our own. We will always remember this as our home.
Have they held on to that song?
I don't. You know what? I remember, God rest her soul, the then principal, Mrs. Delia Repole, was so impressed with the song because I had to, of course, present it to them. And she says, no, but this is something that should continue, like, you know. So I don't know if they continued with it.
Interested to
I don't know. Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's huge. That's legacy.
It was awesome. I taught the girls, the year group, you know, arrange the music and arrange the singing. And it was beautiful. I loved it. Unfortunately, it wasn't those days when everybody had a cell phone, you know, and would have recorded it. But it's something that I really remember caring very much about, you know. So from ever since my of course my gifting is to uplift others, and my gifting is to speak positivity into people's lives, but it is also to do that through music, and I've continued to do that, you know,
you
up to this day. Thank you, my sister.
So you are getting ready. You're clearly a student leader. You not only have the confidence, but not everyone who has the role or responsibility as leader actually always gets the buy-in.
True.
So the fact that you can get the support also speaks to the kind of leader you would have been. But now we're getting ready for university/college.
Yes.
This is now you deciding with intention and strategy that you're going to zero in on a particular career.
Right.
So what you decide for that, as a songbird?
But there you if me do, because I did not want to be a lawyer. I didn't want to be a doctor. And all of the other things were like, so then I was like, okay, so everybody is studying management, so maybe I should do that. So I did management studies and psychology. I did a minor in psychology and graduated with honors, of course. But what I and I say, of course, like it did easy. Girl, me work hard. Yeah, man. Every night I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'd be studying until, the next morning, because for me, it was important to make myself and my parents proud.
Correct. The sacrifices,
absolutely,
the work,
that they
the
have done for me. I
expectations.
remember Terry one day, hey, like I tell you this. So I had extras in math because math was never something that I was strong at, right? And my math teacher called my mother and she said, Alaine got 2 right out of, it was more than the 10,
You know, I thought
right?
you were going to say the math teacher said you got
No,
2 wrong.
girl. Look here, because full disclosure, because we're all works in progress, right? And mommy said to me, Alaine, Auntie Joy said you got 2 right, and Alaine with her outer other self said, so
what? What you mean?
Let me just leave out what happened exactly next and just skip to the part where I heard every bell in the world ringing, right? And mommy say, hard me have to walk for when me have picnic.
Yeah.
Many sleepless nights, many hungry days when I sacrificed, and she didn't speak in standard English.
No, man, we are just doing
But
this
we're
for
speaking
purposes
for
of
everyone who
the
is listening
international
all over the
audience.
world. Hello, Farron. And she said, listen to me, Pickney. You, child, you will not fail. You will not fail. And if you think so is something that is acceptable, that you are wrong. And let me tell you.
The buff buff.
Look here. And my mother maliced me, Terry, for 2 weeks. Because she said, and in hindsight, of course, every time, so my friends, whenever they see me now, they say, so, because, it's a big joke. But the message was so clear to me. It's never a so moment in your life. Everything matters. Every moment matters. And the importance of every moment is huge. Every decision we make is leading us either closer or further away from our destiny.
And that you do yourself a great disservice by being mediocre with what you have.
What is the point of mediocrity? We were not created to be mediocre.
So that's why you stay up at 3 a.m. and get your hands.
Look here, get my hanners. I said, don't question it, because that is what is expected, and we are all capable of shining if we make the decision to do it. But we have to decide. And once we decide, we're unstoppable.
Absolutely. But did you do the psychology because you wanted to, or is because it was the best option out of everything else that you saw?
It was the thing that actually reached out to me the most.
Nice.
And it's the one that I got straight A's in. Like psychology just makes sense to me, right? It's something that I absolutely love. And actually, if I wasn't singing, I would have gone into music psychology, which is, treating people with music. So that is something that I'm still very interested in doing.
So you make mommy and daddy proud.
Yeah.
You walk across the people them stage.
Yeah, girl.
You got what you're supposed to get.
Absolutely.
Do we now enter the world of work?
Yes.
What does that look like? And how does that journey start to define who Alaine is going to become?
Oh, wow. I was so afraid, as by myself. I moved to New York when I was 20 years old, then turned 21 in New York. I got a job at the Bank of New York initially, working.
How did application go? Like,
that's interview, and that was the time of, like, there were so many jobs available, and it was just a booming time in America. So I moved up at the right time. I applied, I went in, got the job, started working there, saw snow for the first time. I got employed as me was one of the banker them. No, so I went in to be trained to be one of the people that sits on the floor that, the tellers escalate whatever it is to the bankers, So I was going to learn. So I went in learning all of this, and it was very boring. And I did not like it at all. But I like to earn money, right?
But why you choose bank? So first of all,
money did it, dental did it. there is money there. There is dental.
Yes.
You know, your teeth can be white and clean and all of these things. Like
But
a piece
boring.
of chalk. Boring. But the most exciting part of that opportunity for me was, so the bank was surrounded in glass.
Yes.
So it was on, I believe it was 53rd Street and 3rd Avenue. But I could be telling you a lie because it was 20 years ago.
Correct.
And sometimes you remember things that never got up.
Right.
But it was in the middle of Manhattan, right? And so you could look outside and see people walking up and down the road. And it was just really beautiful and very different from the Kingston experience that I was used to. And then it snowed for the first time, Terry. And I did turn a idiot. I became silly. And I ran outside. I'm in the middle of it. I said, no! So yeah, that's what I remember from working at the Bank of New York. And then, shout outs to everyone at the Bank of New York. Big up on yourself.
The entire crew is laughing.
What in the world? But then I applied for a job at the Chase Manhattan Bank.
But before you applied to Chase, you said that there was fear. Like, yes, there's the options, but you also had to be trained. And for many of us who had to do that, get that first job, whether it was internship, whether it was, you know, line management, some low-lying job, whatever, it doesn't really matter. There's this period of discomfort.
Yep.
And am I really cut out for this? And am I really good enough? Did you experience that? And if you did, what did you hold on to, or what did you develop that would help shake that to try to prepare you as best as possible for the role that you weren't necessarily prepared for?
Yeah, that's such a good question.
Thank you.
My mother is an injection, a constant injection of inspiration into my life. Beautiful. And I remember growing up, same thing, having problems with math. And mommy would say it, and I said, Mommy, I am dunce. I can't get it. And she would look at me and she say, "You're my pickney. You can't dunce." And Terry, I believed her. Period. I just believed her. And that it has extended to every aspect of my life. Whenever I doubt, because doubt is a natural part of the human experience. But then how do you meet it? You meet the doubt, which is a lie, with the truth. The truth is we are capable of every single thing that we dream of. Period, point blank, no questions asked. We are capable and beyond measure to shine so brightly, even more brightly than the sun, because God is within us and because God is eternal, and his eternal power and strength and ineffable ability is in us, and all we have to do is activate it. How? Step out. Step out, ask a question, walk in spite of the fear. And so whenever I feel the fear, which is natural, I say, okay, I feel your fear, but I'm not you, fear, and you are not me, and you don't have any control over me. Oof. I'm going to go.
Woof. So mommy's
Why
voice
not?
every now,
Always.
whispering, and you saying,
and I said, yes, I
got
am.
this.
Yes.
I got this. I think that would be very helpful for persons who are transitioning. It doesn't even matter if you're transitioning into your first job. Many of us are still transitioning and still going through that period of
learning.
doubt. And it is not lost upon me, and I'm sure the crew, that you didn't like math.
No.
You found math hard, but you ended up as a banker. It's good because God has a great sense of humor. So you say you're there, you start there, you get your foot. You know, your feet are wet, but then you apply to Chase.
What's
that
Manhattan
experience like?
Pretty, overwhelming. You know, walking up to the buildings. I worked at a place called 4CMC, Chase Manhattan Center. There were 2 huge skyscrapers. I remember walking in there to do the interview, and I was scared. You know, I was like, Lord, I must see what am I gonna ask me? What am I gonna say? Oh my God! And then again, Mommy, you're my pickney, and you can do anything. You know. And I walked in, and I remember the interview like it was yesterday. They just asked me about my degree and what it is that I wanted to do, my experience at Bank of New York, you know, what was I doing there. And I got the job. I got in to do a training program that then introduced me to Global Investors Services, and then by extension, securities lending.
Did you ever feel challenged being Jamaican, Caribbean, black, woman. You know, there are all of these different labels, even if they're not labels that you put on yourself.
Yeah.
But I've always heard from colleagues and friends who've gone abroad as international students, or they've gone abroad for work and travel. And many of them have said, you know, I never felt like an other until we went to
the
United States.
Absolutely.
Or kind of, you know, the big markets. Did you ever feel any challenge where you were reminded of your labels that you probably weren't even aware of?
There were instances where, yes, absolutely, I was, but I used that as just a reason to anchor myself, to again remember who I am. You know, I'm Myrna's daughter. I'm God's child. You know, I'm Courtney's daughter. I am capable. There have been challenges in my life before that seemed insurmountable, and I overcame them. Therefore, this is the spirit I walk with. I walk with the spirit of a champion. It is who I am. And so therefore, anything that comes against me is coming against a champion, and I stand, and I'm not alone. You know, I have the Almighty standing with me, in front of me, behind me, everywhere me there. Before I get there, it is well. And so I bring that with me, and I have to constantly remind myself, because this life thing, yes, Terry, is a journey in reminding yourself who you are over and over again. And exactly, you know, and I will, I can, I will, and I shall. And so can you. It is a decision that we make, and we have to constantly make whenever any doubts or any negativity come up against us. But I faced prejudice, and I faced negative words and difficult co-workers, and I give thanks that it is well.
And how are you able to navigate? So for me, you have a spirit that's just very welcome. You want some tea? Yeah. You want some juice? You want a cookie? Hey, I don't have a cookie. What you want? Chicken? Let me go and get the chicken. You have that spirit, and many people will not always understand that spirit. Right. For persons, for example, how, you know, you've been able to navigate, even understanding who you are. For persons who are in the workspace, who have difficult co-workers, right, what are some things that you can, or what are some things that you applied where you were able to handle situations and to problem solve and to deal with personalities that we know is not just for a season, but every time
every day look, it's difficult.
There are difficult personalities. Besides knowing who you are and the confidence and the capacity, how do you actually practice dealing with people who are not always the easiest to get along with?
Well, we live inside our heads, right? So it's all about internal management, you know?
I like that.
Yeah, I am all about starting with me, you know? And so if I meet upon difficult personalities, which I inevitably will, because everybody is not going to get along with everybody, I go inside and say, what about this interaction is bothering me? Self-talk is so important, you know? And then, you know, the issues will come up, and I say, well, is this true? You know? Is this something that I can avoid? Is this something that I can contribute to fixing? If it is, no, I can't, you know, it's something that I'll have to deal with. Then I say, if I were that person, how would I want someone to speak to me, you know? Gotcha. So it's all about recognizing my power in every situation and never acquiescing my power to anyone else. You know, it's never about handing over power, but recognizing that there is God in that person, even though I don't understand the person. Yeah. And we have to work together. So how is it that I can approach this situation in love and hopefully come to objectively and hopefully come to some common ground where we don't have to be friends, because everybody is not meant to be our friend, you know, but how can we coexist and be civil? Exactly. I love that. That's how I've dealt with it. And I give thanks that every single situation has been overcome, you know, and I can't say they're my lifelong friends, but we're not enemies by any stretch of the imagination, you know. So,
that is, yeah. I think I appreciate those because I think sometimes we think it's easy, or it's easier said than done. Yeah. But we don't understand it's something that we have to practice.
We have to work at it.
And sometimes it means we have to identify, and sometimes we even have to ask,
is this something I'm doing? Is this me?
We can't be afraid to confront that.
Yeah.
So you now get exposure into investment
Banking,
and investors and that sound like rich talk, and rich things.
Whole money, yeah.
You know, whole heap of money.
Yeah. Hundreds of millions of US dollars.
Hundreds of millions of US dollars that you are managing.
Mm-hmm.
When does the but music
every day? Every day, Terry. So what was happening is that Wendy Fitzwilliam, who was Miss Trinidad, Miss Universe Trinidad, and then she became Miss Universe, she was pursuing a singing career in New York, right?
I didn't know that.
She was at one point. Big up Wendy. She's so beautiful.
Yes, she is.
Oh my gosh, just gorgeous. And so my mother met her in Jamaica. I think Mommy was doing her makeup for some shoot. And Mommy said, my daughter can write. And Wendy said, really? Well, I think she had a demo deal with Electra Records and she wanted songwriters. And Mommy was like, well, my daughter can write. See her number here.
Don't you just love Jamaican mothers?
666-2222. That is not my number. It never was. But Wendy called me when she got to Jamaica and to New York. And she said, I'm working with some producers. I'd love to work with you. I think I'd done a demo. I don't know how Mommy convinced her to, give me a chance. But I went in and I met Salam Remy at that time.
Hold on. The question I have is, Wendy, who everybody knows of, love, just Miss Universe.
Yes.
Calls and says, I'm interested in you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to work with you. What you say? What you don't think say it's a scam or you have the wrong number?
Mommy told me. Mommy said, Alaine, this very beautiful girl, I worked on her and she's so lovely and I told her about you and she's going to call you and I want you to go and write some songs for her.
Big up, Mommy.
Oh, yeah. Mommy, she's that mother, who knows exactly what it is that I needed and what I really wanted to do. Banking was going well as growing, as learning, but it wasn't something that was bringing me...
Fulfillment.
Yeah. Oh, the word. That's the F word. Fulfillment.
So you literally meet up with her and you are going to start getting to work.
Yep. And so I went into the studio, met Van Gibbs, met Salam Remy. And Salam Remy is, of course, a producer of just so many big hits, including Hot Stepper with Inika Mosey and so many more, like a countless amount more. And I was working with his father, who was working with Wendy. And I wrote some songs. None of them saw the light of day. Not one of them. But it started just this hunger for more because I was working at the bank from 7:30 every morning to 3:30 in the afternoon.
Correct.
And then going home, taking a shower and going into the studio with Van and Wendy, writing songs, learning, interacting with other songwriters who were also striving, to just get that American dream experience.
How do you deal with disappointment when you so Wendy comes along and it bites you again? It was always there, but this thing now bites you and you go, oh, my love, I'm gonna rekindle the love with my love. You actually start to get in the motion of the songwriting and then your heart, of course, your expectations grow. You're getting closer. You're seeing all of this activity.
All around,
But then it doesn't go according to plan.
Not at all.
That can be crushing. That can also, if we're not careful, we can go, you know what, we don't want to feel this again. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I thought this was for me, but it wasn't. And you could have literally just said, all right, let me just go focus on banking, call it a day. How did you navigate that disappointment to the point where it didn't throw you off and you decided to still
pursue the career? I cried. I remember one time I wrote this song. Me say, I the baddest song in my life. I swear this song is just the best song that God ever created. Sorry, it wasn't, right? But I thought it was. And you couldn't tell me nothing, right? So we submitted the song to a bunch of artists because how it is that when they have I don't even remember if it's called a look list, but it's like all artists that are signed to the major labels, when they're doing their albums, they say we're looking for songs. Exactly, we're looking for songs. So you have lists of people that are looking for songs. So we honed in on one artist and we're like, we're going to write a song for that artist. And I thought the song was so good. Well, honey,
it's going to be a Billboard #1.
Number higher than 1. What is number 1? Though high enough. I said it was a number none. They never like it. They said, hen ho, no, right? And I ball. My eyes were so, because I said, okay, this is it. I'm a complete failure. I was maybe like 22. I'm a complete failure. Nothing will ever work for me. It's just a wrap. Like, I'm never gonna make it. And I lock up in my house for the whole weekend, bawling. And I remember mommy had come up to stay with me. And she said, let's write another song.
So simple and profound.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. And the next song never worked either. They never wanted it. Until one of them that I wrote got picked up and was recorded by a group that was subsequently dropped from the label. So the song never come out anyway. Exactly. So it was just like a story of almost theirs, you know. Almost, yes. Well, it was yes, and then
it still never worked out.
Yeah, but no. And I didn't stop. I didn't stop. I didn't stop loving what I was doing. And what that was doing was just making me so much of a better writer because I was always striving for more. So every failure would show me what I needed to not do.
Correct.
You know, and then, okay, so these are the lessons I've learned. Let me apply them and write more and more and more.
So you didn't take it personally, no, even though it hurt.
Ooh, that's good.
Like, so even though it hurt, because I think, again, you've spoken about the human experience. You can't invalidate the human experience and the human emotion of
pain and disappointment
and feeling like a failure, but yet still not being defined by the failure because you don't take it personally, but going, if it wasn't good enough to be picked up, what do I improve?
Exactly.
To the point where you did get the yes and it was out of your control. Yeah. So then when do you make the decision, you know what? I'm going to dive head in. I'm going to come to Jamaica. What was the defining moment for you?
Oh, wow.
To transition and to redirect from banking and investment and managing money to really just going all in your talent and your love?
Yeah. So, Tammy Chin. While I was in New York at that time.
That's crazy.
I know. The world is a cycle. And so Tammy now was pursuing her singing career at the beginning. She was 17 years old. And she was pursuing her singing career. Wow. And I was in New York, and one of the producers that was working with her was looking for a songwriter. And one of my friends is a friend of those producers, and he said, I have this really awesome friend who's really musical and writes great songs. And he called me, Evan, and he said, Alaine, there's some guys down here and they're working with this white Jamaican girl. I said, and she's white, you know. I said, what? She's white and she's Jamaican. Yeah, man, and she can sing and sing, and we want you to come and write some songs for her. So I was like, okay, great. So I fly down to Florida, meet this Chinese Jamaican girl. Like, she's not white, she's actually Asian. Not white, she's Asian. And me and Tammy just, from the beginning of our meeting, we just hit it off. Like, that was my instant sister. Like, I loved her. And then I started writing songs for her. And we, you know, just started this dreaming together of more for ourselves, you know, with our talents. And I remember, you know, flying back and forth because, of course, I had to come back to New York to work. Exactly. And Tammy actually flew up to New York, lived with me for a little while, met some producers that I knew. And, you know, we were just trying to help each other. And then she went on tour with Shaggy, dancing with Shaggy. And then she came home to Jamaica to sing. So she and Conroy, who was the main producer that she was working with at that time, we were all friends, of course. And I came home to Jamaica one weekend or whatever for a break from work. And Tammy was recording her first video for I Wanna Rock You, Wanna Rock You. I know, it's just, the world is a cycle. And Conroy was like, Alaine, you know, you should come home and sing. You know, you should. And I was like, boy, you know, Conroy, you know, I'm not really in front of the camera thing, you know. I'm very much behind the scenes.
No
I just
way.
Want to write.
The devil is a liar.
That's how I felt. felt. And I expressed my feelings. It was a lie, but that's how I felt, right? And I was like, I don't know, am I brave enough to stand in front of people and to sing, you know, like that? I don't know. And then I thought, yeah, I am. And so I just decided. I remember calling my father one night. I said, Daddy, I'm going to quit my job and move home. Him say,
To do what?
yeah.
Yes.
So him say, no, first I said, I'm going to quit my job. So he goes, yeah, okay. So, and I'm going to pursue singing. Him say, in America? So I said, no, Daddy, I'm going to come home to Jamaica, hear him. All right, come. I kid you not. And I know that is not the normal response
I was just about to
parents.
say.
Yes, because, you know,
That is divine.
It is, absolutely. But, you know, I had my savings. You know, I had been working for 4.5 years in New York. So I had my savings. And I said, okay, I'm going to take it and come home and live off of my savings. And hopefully before the last cent.
A bus.
Yeah, a bus, right? And Terry, I came home. And I remember meeting with the first producer and played. I had recorded Deepa then, you know, and I played Deepa for the producer. And him said, yeah, this sound good and everything, but unless you're talking about how sexually incredible you are, nobody's going to care. So I looked at him and I said, sir, if I speak about anything like that, people will buckle me because that is not who I am. You understand? There is no authenticity in me expressing my sexual prowess.
And not even that. Well, kudos to you for being able to say, actually, that's not my lane.
Yeah.
That might be other people's lane.
Absolutely.
But I think what is really profound about it is the fact that people will legitimately tell you where you will go, where you should be placed, and that where you should be placed is what will get you success.
Yeah, absolutely. How dare they?
And there are people who will believe that.
That's the thing. Who told you that? You know, it's so important for us to question all of the limiting messages that are thrown in our direction and ask, who told you that? Who told me that I wasn't enough? Who told me that I couldn't do this thing? Who told me that I would never amount to anything? It's a lie.
So if you're not taking off your clothes and talking about the tightness thereof,
talk about it, nobody's going to care.
You're not going to be successful.
This song is a song called Deepa, right? And it is a song that I have sung all over the world, Terry. And you know, I talk about it in my shows as well, the fact that I recorded that song in a basement studio in Brooklyn, in the bathroom, right beside the toilet. The producer put the microphone right beside the toilet and lit a candle and put it on the toilet tank, you know, for I guess...
mood?
Yes. And if I wanted to use the bathroom, I said, could you just turn off the mic? Sir, I gotta go. But I recorded the song there. And that song has been one of the vehicles that has taken me all over the world. And so never despise small beginnings. Start where you are and bring your A game to the most humble or modest experiences. And the Almighty will expand you. It is without fail. What will make us not go where we're supposed to go or be who we're supposed to be is our inaction. That is it. No word spoken over you has any power over you. No thought, no experience is stronger than your destiny, than your divine destiny.
It's something interesting that you said, and it's something that I say all the time. And when I have the opportunity to speak, I always say it. You said, you know, don't fear or be embarrassed of the small beginnings. Because I think we look at social media, everybody looking at the instant gratification. Everybody wants the destination. Nobody wants to be a part of the journey. Nobody wants to start small. Nobody wants to look like small fry. And I keep on saying, but if you're not willing to honor the small role, this is what I always say. If you're not willing to honor the small roles, how do you honor the big ones?
Absolutely.
If you're not putting in the diligence, the time, the sweat, the effort, the trial, the tribulation, how do you celebrate the triumph and then move to the next level to master? So here it is, you come home and you are brimming with enthusiasm because now you have people encouraging you. You're working with Tammy, you're realizing, but this is something that I can do. And people are going to tell you, no,
nobody's
unless you jeopardize or compromise yourself. And if it means starting in the bathroom, with a little mic stand.
Yep,
No
beside
fancy
the toilet.
studio.
Right beside the toilet, girl. Stand right there and do what you have to do. And
what
watch
happens?
God do what God does.
And what happens after Deepa?
So Deepa started playing on the radio. It got picked up for a compilation. And people started reaching out to me. You know, I met Daseka, started working with them. And of course, Asirani and you know, David and Craig Harrison. And then Don Corleone heard the recordings that I had done. And one of my girlfriends that I met when I was out here took me up to Don's house and, you know, I sang for him and he's like, yeah, let's do some work. Then we recorded No Ordinary Love Girl.
I love. Everybody. Girl. First of all, when you sing No Ordinary Love, I think if you go quiet, you'll hear all of the screeching that takes place in the audience. Because all of us try to sing along with you and we're singing loudly because we think no one else can hear it. We sound absolutely terrible. And I tell people there is no one who can sing that song in the note that you sing that song
thank you,
in.
my sister.
And each time you perform it, I go, how is this even possible?
Thank you. Oh, bless
you are amazing.
Thank you.
So here, so basically, you never just start off big song and you never just bust song. You literally had to take your time.
Take the steps, you know.
How do you build the courage as a performer? So it's one thing to, I think, record. You can let me know if I'm wrong. I think it's one thing to be in a studio and to record. It's another thing to go on a stage, read a room, depending on which country you are in, socialization, the cultural aspect, and to be able to move a room. How did you grow in that area?
Practice. Because I'm naturally, nobody believes me, but I'm shy, okay? Terry?
Nobody believes you.
Well, but that's because I've grown out of it, okay? But initially, but Freddy, and I'm like, oh my God, no, but first of all, the Jamaican crowd is the hardest crowd to perform for.
And if they approve, you're gone.
In life, no problem, you're good as gold. But I remember the first time I was going to perform out here, I was so afraid, you know, and then it depends also on who introduces you, because I remember one person introduced me and the person was like, he sings only conscious songs and he is so talented. Here he is, Alaine. So I said, but who is he? Who could it be? And then I run on and I'm singing anything but a conscious song. I'm singing a dancehall song, a love song. I would do anything, which does not at all go with it. It's just a disparity.
And apart from the fact that you're not a he, but okay, yeah, me, but you know.
First of all, I do not identify as a he.
Right.
You understand? So there's that, you know. So I mean, you know, the setup to the moment it matters, you know. But practice, rehearsal, you know. I big up Taurus Riley every day because touring with him was something that was invaluable to me. I learned. Taurus is a master performer.
Yes, he is.
And I learned from him. I sat and I watched him and I saw how he walked. I saw how he talked. I saw how the breath control, the interaction with the audience, you know, and this happened over years, you know, and I applied myself to being a better performer. And it's something I absolutely love, you know.
What do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions that people, audience members, listeners, fans, what do you think some of the biggest misconceptions they have about entertainers and artists such as yourself?
I don't know. I think that it is easy for people to underestimate. And so it therefore is our job to show who exactly we are. That has been my experience. You know, a constant response to my performances that I've been getting is, wow, I didn't know you were that good, you know? And I go, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I think what I appreciate about you is that you are a storyteller.
Yes,
so the moment you come on, first of all, you're just this burst of energy. So if anyone is sleeping or, you know, going about their business, we want to stop and we want to hear what you have to say.
You.
And then when you start speaking and then you kind of tell your story, then you go off. And that is actually how I found out that you had a redirection story, because it's a part of you saying, you know,
This is not
Some
what
people
I
thought I was
always
crazy.
do.
And by the way, tell me about what other people might have thought, whether they were family or friends. Sure, daddy said, come. Mommy said, come, we will support you. But what about the people who you think would naturally support you going, but you leave big foreign,
Right.
big America,
Right.
big job, nice money, stability, for come out Jamaica, for start over
Sing
and
reggae
try
music.
in reggae music. You are a female in the
Yes.
business, and we also know that
Right.
that has its challenges. But your mother or what?
Yes, I got that question. I got the response was, oh, it's never gonna work. You're for fool. I hope you can go back a foreign. Why would you do this? No. But you see, a lot of the things that people express show, everything that people express shows what's inside them. You know, and that's their story of doubt or naysaying. And it's something I talk about, that the only animal that says nay is a donkey. So when the naysayers come to you, see them as the donkeys that they are and lead them away. They have no control over you. Oh, which donkey can talk about my life, ma? So, oh, we're so powerful. We are so powerful. We are powerful beyond measure.
First
and
of
we
all,
have to accept that.
You said donkey, and all I can hear in my head is hee-haw, hee-haw.
Because that is what it sounds like to me when somebody brings a limiting thought to me when I express that, which is so important for us to make sure we protect our ideas. Because the people that we share them with, if they are not expansive in their thinking, it's very easy for them to project their limited thoughts on us. And then we will say, okay, it's
Maybe
true.
they're right.
Maybe I shouldn't try. No. Maybe you should keep your idea to yourself and bring it to people who will help to foster it, as opposed to people who are like, no, don't do that. People who have never done anything in their lives. Because let me tell you something. People who are dreamers and successful people are always wanting to find the next.
Yes.
And those are the people that are our people. Those are the people that they get it.
And they encourage it.
Yes, there is more. But you have to look to people who are aware that there is more. You know, so who is your friend circle?
Yes.
Who are the people that you're confiding in? Who are the dreamers? And not only dreamers, because it's wonderful to dream, but what are you doing about it?
And do they hold you accountable? Are they accountability partners? How does it feel looking back, looking at who you are? Every time I open up my timeline, you're on a stage, you're on a plane, you're telling some country thank you, and you're experiencing the world, and you're sharing the talent, and you can see the happiness because I think I know that you're doing something that is fulfilling. How good does it feel that you are able to do this without compromising who you are and what your beliefs are? And how important is it for not just girls, but our boys to understand that fulfillment will come.
Yeah.
And it's okay that you don't always look and sound and dress and walk and talk like everyone else. Like, has this been an interesting journey for you in terms of self-discovery?
Absolutely. And every day I'm discovering more. And then that goes back to that internal management again that I mentioned earlier. Taking time to be still with yourself, to know exactly what it is that you want for yourself first. And so it doesn't matter what's going on outside of us, because what is inside of us and our subconscious minds are so powerful, but we have to spend the time programming our thoughts in the direction that we want our lives to go. And it's going to take time. It's just like planting a seed.
Yes.
You have to do what looks like burying it to start the growth process. And so burying it means that's the silent time.
Yes.
That's the time where you really say, okay,
prep.
this is the prep time. And you don't see anything. It looks like it's dead. But what it is doing, because of the inherent qualities of a seed, is that the roots are starting to dig in, and you still can't see it. So then the doubts will come and you say, oh, but I'm working so hard. Me still broke.
Look how me water it and nothing now come.
It's growing, it's coming. Water it, fertilize it. know that things take time, but that the fruits will come in season. But you have to work at it, and you have to believe in yourself when you're feeling darkness or when you're feeling uncertainty.
Yeah.
Your plant is going to grow.
And what I've come to realize is that when you are unapologetic about the work that you do, and you refuse to have it tainted and contaminated by what people think you should be, I feel like not only do you grow fruit, not only do you bear fruit to show the work and the effort that you have put into nurturing that seed, but your harvest is so bountiful that when you look, you have fruit in abundance that you can now share with other people. Like other people benefit from the fruit that you are also, you know, springing. And so I think people also have to understand that even in watering their seed, it's not just for them alone, but it's for the other people who you will impact and influence, which is what I think you do every time you spread your talent. I think you spread and sprinkle your madness and your happiness all over.
Yes.
Of all the countries you have visited, of all the countries you have had the opportunity of showing Jamaica to, which experience was or is your favorite?
Oh, that's hard.
That's hard.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. I loved, okay, so many, I've had so many almost out of body experiences, Terry, when I go on the stages, because, you know, I go to some places that I didn't know existed, you know, and when they know my music, even sometimes more than I know my music, you know, it's just a testament to the goodness of God and how amazing your life can be when you step out of your normal, you know, and move toward the new normal. You know, it's something we were talking about when we saw each other in the airport, you know. And what stands out in my mind was the first time I went to Kenya. I didn't know anybody knew me in Kenya. And G Money, who is a radio personality in Kenya, came to Jamaica. He's Jamaican. And he says, "Man, you're big in Kenya." I said, "Me?" Right? I was like, "What?" I was like, "What songs did I know?" And he started naming every single song that I've ever recorded. I said, "But serious, G?" And he said, "Yeah, we're taking you over there. Homeboys Radio is going to take you over. We're going to do a big concert. Bam, 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 negotiate the money, everything. I fly over there with my DJ expecting nothing," right? Because I'm just like, yeah, right.
You just got to do the work and come on your yard.
Right? Terry, 9,000 people came up to my show. No, okay, but before that, there was a meet and greet. So I'm in my brain, I'm like, nobody not gonna meet me nor greet me, you know. Nobody don't know me. What is this? Terry, when I reach the place, first of all, they drive me there in like a big black van, right? And I have two big security.
Strapping.
This is two big strapping security. They say, "Well, I'm not security. Me don't need no security." What is that?
So nobody not
gonna trouble me. Nobody gonna go. I'm gonna be there by myself. All by myself, right? So we drive up now. When I drive up, people are hanging out of the building. The amount of people that are there, and I'm just like, what is this? Then I see people on the road. There's like human traffic on the road. People, foot traffic on the road, running toward the car. And
do you realize that this is for you?
This is for me. Then one of them jumps on and says, "Oh, Alaine!" Boom, 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 boom. Jump across the windshield, you know. Boom. So one of the security now come out of the car and take the man up and fling him on the asphalt. So I'm like, what's going on? And then he just brush off himself. Alaine! Boom, 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 boom. Run, jump right back onto the windshield. But I said, "What, Father God, what is happening here?" Right? Absolute pandemonium, just out of this world, just love, but all caps love, like out of this world, T. And then 9,000 people came to the show, sang every lyric of every song. I was just bowled over with gratitude because all in my mind is that I said, "God, look at what you're doing for me. Look at what you have done for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you." I went back to the hotel, locked the door, and jumped on the bed and cried. Ball till my eyes swell up big. And I just kept saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Because it hasn't always been a good experience, you know. I've had failures along the way. I've had people laugh at me, talk about me, tell lies about me. I've had people fight against me. I've had experiences that have almost made me want to stop singing. Yeah. And then there are these rays of hope that go, oh, but wait, there's more, you know? And so...
Do I dare to believe that that is your priceless moment?
So many. Okay, so I had a performance in Amsterdam at the 2/7 Clash, which I do not think even happens anymore. And this was when Rising Love had just come out. It was at the peak of the popularity of Rising Love, which is actually one of my biggest songs.
Yes.
And I sang that song, and you know, it was well received. And afterwards, a beautiful young lady came to me backstage, and she said, Alaine, from she saw me, she burst into tears. So I just hug her up and I said, okay. I said, I don't know where she cried. I don't know what's going on. And she goes, you know, my boyfriend left me and I was suicidal. And Rising Love is what stopped me from killing myself. Oof. And I started to cry because in that moment, I recognized that it's so much bigger than the music.
So much bigger than you.
So much bigger than me. It's so much bigger than just, first of all, it's never just a song. It's never just a song. And the message, that's why it's so important for me that my messages always uplift others, always speak of love, always speak of God, always speak of overcoming, because people need these messages, Terry, you know, and like that is something that has stayed with me. And, you know, so many people have shared their overcoming stories that have been accompanied by my music. And that means everything to me.
And that reinforces your why.
Yes.
It actually reinforces on the days where you feel like giving up yourself, that this is the reason why I do what I do.
Yep.
I mean, you're the kind of person who I could sit and talk with and be like, listen, you've had the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, and I think it's very easy for people like yourself who carry whatever burdens you're carrying, whatever redirection you're carrying, you do it so gracefully. A lot of us do it gracefully. And I always think that the persons who are happiest and the ones who are usually the nicest are usually the pillars. And it is important to check in on them.
Yes.
That being said, you know, what is your definition of redirection for you based on how you've experienced it, how it has operated in your life? What's your definition of redirection?
That's so good. Okay, so here it is. Surrender. Surrender to the power that is for you, being fully flexible and ready for the next. Period. Accepting that I might feel that I'm not ready, but my feelings are not who I am. And my emotions are not who I am. Who I am is a gift. And how I allow God to move through me will spread that gift to the world. And so I stay open for redirection every single day, because as the world turns, so God has, but there's more, there's new, there is greater. And I think if all of us surrender to that power that is for us, then we will never be bored, because there will always be a new direction.
Period. Point blank. No questions. I'm proud of you. I've been able to meet you in so many different spaces and places, and it's always good to run into a woman who fills you.
Oh,
every
sis, that is
time,
you.
Every single time.
Every time.
And I think what you help to do also is to reinforce the narrative that we don't have to compete.
Yep.
We don't have to bad mind. We don't have to say about why she have and me not have. But it is so good to be able to look at and say, yo, I see what you're doing, you know, and I celebrate you and I cheer for you.
Absolutely.
So in your moreness that is going to come.
Hey, yes.
Your newness that is already on its way.
Received.
And its abundance that you're already stepping into. May you just continue to let your light shine. I think the world is dark right now. And we need a lot of light bearers.
Yes,
in the different spaces. And I look to you as one of those.
Thank you.
And I just want to wish you all the best. I still will never be able to sing No Ordinary Love in the note. You do.
Can't dance like you, Terri-Karelle.
But you know what? Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you, and just know that the entire crew loves and appreciates your energy that you bring to any room, any day.
Thank you.
Love you.
You are light. You are love. You are limitless. I mean, Terry, you know how I feel about you. And I thank you for your constant redirection and the way how you lift everyone with whom you come into contact. It is the God in you. It is unstoppable. And I will always cheer for you so loudly. You are exquisite.
We're not going to ball, you know, because
I
makeup,
might,
we makeup look
our
nice.
makeup
We're
look
not,
good,
listen.
so we don't gonna ball.
Thank you, my darling.
Yes, here we go.
So I know a lot of you know her. You know her songs, and sometimes you see her and you enjoy a rock to her music on a festival, or maybe you're listening to it on a radio or a playlist. But not all of us ever have the opportunity to understand the journey that someone has taken. So there might have been moments when you went, I never know that about Alaine. Wow, that is where she started off. So I guess it's also a reminder that when you see people, don't judge them. You have absolutely no idea how far they are coming from.
Yeah.
And my mother will say, when you see people doing well and successful, don't bad mind them. Because you really don't know the sacrifice that they have gone through. So if you liked this episode, which I know you did, do not be stingy. Let us know with the likes, the comments. If you're listening on your preferred podcast platforms, go ahead, give us a rating, give us reviews. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and leave us a subscribe. Just click the subscribe button right there. I certainly hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, let me know what were the nuggets that you took away from this particular episode. Until I see you again next week, thank you so very much for tuning in to another episode of Redirection with Terri-Karelle. Thank you to our partners, MasterCard, Heineken 00, Toyota Jamaica, Commercial Concepts, Spaces Jamaica, FHC Credit Union, Beauty Brands by MDS, Go Shore Couriers, and Brescia.